The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across New York City. The sky had darkened, and the air was filled with anticipation. A massive spaceship, unlike anything the world had ever seen, hovered just above the skyline. Its metallic surface gleamed in the dim light, casting an otherworldly glow that reflected off the glass buildings below. The world watched as the first alien ship landed, signaling a momentous event in human history. Emergency forces surrounded the ship, and the streets of Manhattan quickly became flooded with police, military personnel, and curious onlookers. News cameras zoomed in on the hovering vessel, transmitting live footage to every television screen in the world. The air was thick with tension, the kind of tension that you could almost feel in your bones. From the open hatch of the spaceship, 3 aliens stepped out. Tall, humanoid beings, their skin a translucent shade of green that shimmered in the fading light. Their movements were deliberate, composed, almost regal, but they did not speak at first. Their eyes swept over the crowd below them, eyes that glowed faintly in the twilight. Within seconds, military vehicles surrounded them, and soldiers with guns drawn stood at attention, but no one fired. There was an eerie silence before one of the aliens stepped forward and raised their hand in a peaceful gesture. "We come in peace," they said, their voice amplified through a translator device, resonating with an otherworldly cadence. "We represent a transportation company from our planet, and we wish to offer our assistance to humanity. We have mastered space travel, and we can help you build a fleet of spaceships. Our goal is simple: to make space travel accessible to every human being at a cost so low that everyone can journey to the stars." The words echoed through the crowd like a dream come true. People stood frozen, struggling to process what they had just heard. An alien civilization offering to collaborate with humans to create interstellar travel. The possibilities seemed endless, but not everyone in the room was so enthusiastic. A senior official from the U.S. government, General John Matthews, stepped forward, his face hardened by years of service. "We cannot trust you," he said sternly, his voice steady but filled with suspicion. "This may be an invasion disguised as an opportunity. We have no idea what your true intentions are. You may be manipulating us, using your advanced technology to undermine us. We will not risk our planet for a business deal." The aliens stood still, unperturbed by the accusations. One of them responded, "We came to help, not to harm. You have nothing to fear. This is purely a business proposition. If you accept, you will have access to the stars, to technology that can elevate your entire civilization. If you refuse, we will leave. But your opportunity to join us will be lost forever." Despite the peaceful tone of the aliens' message, the tension in the room continued to build. Other officials echoed the general's concerns, and the room grew divided. On one side, a group of individuals saw the opportunity for progress, for humanity to finally break the boundaries of Earth and explore the cosmos. On the other, there were those who saw the aliens as potential invaders, dangerous creatures who could exploit Earth for their own purposes. The debate raged for hours, with no clear resolution. Finally, the decision was made. The head of the government, President Elizabeth Carter, made a public statement. "We refuse to cooperate with these aliens. We believe they cannot be trusted. We will not risk our sovereignty by allowing their influence in our nation. We demand that they return to their planet and never return to Earth." The decision was final. The aliens, with their offer rejected, retreated back into their spaceship, their departure leaving a void of uncertainty in the hearts of those who had dared to dream of a future among the stars. But the story didn't end there. Within hours, the news broke out across television stations, social media, and every major news outlet. The refusal to collaborate with the aliens sent shockwaves across the world. People were stunned. Many had believed that this was the moment they had been waiting for, the chance to travel in space, to live among the stars, to break free from the limitations of Earth. As the days passed, the story continued to dominate the news cycle. People everywhere were outraged by the decision. "This is our chance to explore the universe," they said. "We cannot let our leaders squander it. We demand they work with the aliens." Protests began to form, starting in New York City and soon spreading to every major city in the US. People gathered in the streets with signs that read, "Give us the stars," and "Don't let fear stop progress." What began as a small demonstration soon grew into a nationwide movement. Citizens, young and old, black and white, rich and poor, all united for one cause. They wanted to work with the aliens. The protests reached a boiling point as more and more people took to the streets. The sound of chants filled the air, and social media exploded with calls for change. Hashtags like Disclamer Space for All and Aliens Air Our Future spread across Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Celebrities, influencers, and ordinary citizens alike spoke out in support of the alien collaboration, urging the government to reconsider. The news channels were flooded with live reports of the protests, showing people of all backgrounds demanding action. The president's office received hundreds of thousands of emails, phone calls, and letters, all calling for a change in policy. The pressure became too much to ignore. After days of growing unrest, President Carter finally announced an emergency meeting with her highest-ranking officials, the armed forces, and intelligence agencies. The situation had escalated beyond their control. The country was in turmoil, and something had to be done to restore order. The president knew that she could not ignore the voice of the people. Inside the Oval Office, the atmosphere was tense as the president addressed the group. "This situation is getting out of hand," she said. "The protests are no longer just a few isolated groups. This is a national movement. We need to address the people's concerns, and we need to do it quickly." One of the generals spoke up, his voice firm. "Madam President, we cannot allow ourselves to be manipulated. This is not just about public opinion. This is about our national security. We need to consider the long-term consequences of working with these aliens." But the president remained resolute. "I understand the concerns, but we cannot ignore the will of the people. They are demanding this. They want a future among the stars. We have to give them the chance. We can't let fear hold us back." After hours of heated discussions, the decision was finally made. The president issued a public statement addressing the nation. "After careful consideration and in light of the overwhelming support from the people, we have decided to approve the collaboration with the aliens. We will work together to build a fleet of ships that will take humanity beyond the stars." The announcement sent waves of relief and excitement throughout the country. The decision to collaborate with the aliens marked a new chapter in human history. The first steps toward interstellar travel were now within reach. In the months that followed, work on the spaceship began. The humans and aliens worked together, blending their knowledge and technology to create ships that could carry humans into the depths of space. The collaboration opened up new possibilities for humanity, new industries, new technologies, and a future that was no longer confined to Earth. But as the ships neared completion, questions remained. What would humanity's place be in the vast universe? What secrets would they uncover on their journey through space? And most importantly, would they be ready for the challenges that lay ahead? As the first fleet of human ships prepared for launch, the world watched. The future of Earth and its people was no longer limited to the planet they had always known. They were ready to take their first steps into the stars. And as the ships lifted off the ground, the world held its breath, wondering what awaited them in the vast unknown. The suspense hung in the air like a thick fog, leaving everyone wondering, what would happen when humanity reached the stars?